year. CRISIL Equity Research certainly expects some recovery coming in next year. Joining us to talk about that is Mohit Modi, Director Equity Research at CRISIL. Mohit, good morning. Thanks so much for coming in. Appreciate it. I'm just going to start with the basic premise underlying your report. You're saying that next year is going to be better from a demand standpoint, firstly, because interest rates will come down and demand will pick up in major cities?
Exactly, Ira. At CRISIL Research, we looked at the aggregate P&L and balance sheet of around 23 companies that are publicly listed. There are two reasons why we believe that the next year should be a smoother ride compared to this year for the real estate companies. One is primarily that the demand should pick up because of a GDP growth rate bottoming out. We expect an overall growth rate of 5.5% in this full fiscal year, whereas the first half has been only 5.3%. So the last quarter has been 5.3%. So there is a sense of bottoming out of GDP growth rate, which should help. The second is an expectation of around 50 BPS cut in the interest rate over the next 2 to 3 quarters, and that should also help in revival of demand. Further, there are inherent behaviors within the P&L and balance sheets of these companies, which should also help in overall earnings improvement for these companies.
I'll come to that in a minute, Mohit, but one thing that stood out to me is that there was no linkage to property pricing. I mean, I'm wondering if property prices have not been a deterrent, because throughout this downturn, property prices have actually not really come down. And the fear is that if demand picks up even more, developers will start to hike up prices, and that would probably hamper any potential for upside in demand.
Our expectation is that the property prices would remain more or less stable over the next at least 3 to 4 quarters. And the kind of recovery that we are expecting is more of a benign demand-led recovery. The primary reason here is that for the aggregate as a whole, if you look at their balance sheets, the balance sheets have swelled up significantly over the past 4 years. Whereas the P&L expansion did not happen at a commensurate rate. In fact, the P&Ls have contracted. At the net earnings level, earnings have come down from almost 140 billion in FY08 to 40 billion at the current year rate. And while the total debt on these balance sheets have gone up from 380 billion to 555 billion rupees. So clearly there is a case for developers to have a demand-led recovery rather than just the price-led recovery, because it is at this stage balance sheet deleveraging is one of the key priorities for many companies, and that is where we expect the focus to be.
Okay. Just in terms of, which cities, I noticed that you say that Mumbai is expected to see the highest CAGR growth in terms of demand in, at about 14% odd. What's the rationale behind the sort of city-specific projections that you're making?
We looked at 6 key cities from a demand-supply perspective. If you talk about the residential real estate space, the total planned outlay over the next 2 years is around 1.8 billion square feet, and we expect around 70% of this to come up. As far as Mumbai is concerned, between FY8 and FY12 there has been a 4% annual decline in demand. Whereas if you look at the prices for many of the micro markets, the prices they dipped during the intermediate period and have now come back to the 2008 levels. So we expect there is the other issue which happened in Mumbai was in the intermediate period, the supply was seriously constrained. If you see these 3 facts together, we expect that in the next 2 years, demand should actually pick up at a significant rate, considering the latent demand which has been there, and we expect this to be supported by overall GDP growth rate, which should help in improving incomes, as well as an expectation of an interest rate cut.
All right, fair enough. Just wondering, based on all these dynamics, have you identified specific companies within your coverage which stand to benefit the most?
We have on the residential real estate side, we have coverage on 4 companies, and out of these 4 companies, the way we cover is we cover them on fundamentals, and as well as we give a commentary on their fair valuation. 2 of these companies, Ashiana and Bhartiya, are respectively superior and good on fundamentals. Essentially, we grade them 4 on 5 and 3 on 5 on fundamentals. Their market price or their fair value is fairly aligned today. Ashiana, we have a fair value of 256 rupees, whereas on Bhartiya we have a fair value of 180 rupees. At the same time, on two other companies, Nitesh and Parshnath, our fundamental grade is 2 on 5 or moderate. And the fair value has a strong upside. In Parshnath's case, the fair value is at 54 rupees, whereas in Nitesh's case, the fair value is at 25 rupees.
All right, so there is potential upside on both of those as well as the ones that you mentioned. Thanks so much, Mohit. Let's see how it plays out for the realty sector and, of course, the economy next year. Thanks for joining us with that call, though. That's a report that they put out on Friday.